There's one skill almost every elite athlete has mastered, and almost nobody trains it. Not because it's unimportant, but because most athletes don't even realize it's a skill in the first place. And the crazy part is, this one skill affects your confidence, your consistency, how you handle pressure. This one skill being your focus, the ability to control your attention when everything else around you is trying to take it away. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you why it's one of the most overlooked skills in sports, and more importantly, how you can train it for yourself. All right? So, I believe your focus is one of the most important mental skills an athlete can have, because your focus dictates how you feel. How you feel dictates how you play dictates your results, right? Being leads to doing, and doing leads to results, and that all starts with your focus. For example, most athletes focus on what they don't want rather than what they do want. What if I miss that shot? What if I lose that game? What if I miss that penalty over there? You know, and they just perpetually keep placing all their attention and all their energy on the negative thoughts and the negative emotions, therefore putting them in a negative state of being. So if you're not feeling good, if you go into the game with a lack of confidence and a lack of belief within yourself, how do you expect to play good? Spoiler, you're not. So you're gonna get horrible results, right? And this all comes from a lack of focus, a lack of trained focus specifically. Like Novak Djokovic talks about it all the time. Instead of being like most athletes where they'll ruminate and dwell in their negative thoughts and emotions for days or even weeks, he'll only be in it for a few seconds because he trained this part of his mind. He trained this part of his game, right? And that's something I'm gonna show you guys how to do later on using a certain technique. Like me, for example, I'm a victim of this as well. I had no focus when I played, because when I used to play corner in American football, for my international viewers watching this. And it's one of the most mentally taxing positions on the field. Like, I could be doing good and locking my dude up 3/4 of the game, almost the whole game. Then once he catches a ball on me, that's all I'm placing my focus on. Oh, he caught the ball on me. Like, how do I let him do that? This and this. The next thing you know, I'm starting to focus on that. Therefore, I'm starting to feel a lack of confidence, a lack of belief in myself because he caught the ball. When before, he wasn't catching shit but 3/4 of the game. But because I'm placing my focus and attention on that, now I don't feel good, right? The next thing you know, he catches another ball, then another ball, and then I just shit the bed. All the 3/4 went to waste because I had a lack of focus. More importantly, a lack of trained focus, right? And at the time, I'm sure like you watching this, you didn't even know this was a thing, okay? But like I said, like Djokovic and the LeBron, like even Wembanyama is killing now. They all have a trained focus. That's how they're able to make a shit play or lose a game, then get right back in it the next play, because they're not focused on the mistake. They're not focused on the loss. They're focused on the next thing. They're focused on whatever's in front of them, not what's behind them. They don't bring the past with them into the future, right? So instead of like most people, including me, when I made a mistake, I'd be like, oh, how'd you do that? You're an idiot for making that decision. And all your attention and energy is focused and predicated upon that. Therefore, you make another mistake, then another mistake, which ends up in a loss, right? Because that's what your focus is on. Always remember, where you place your attention is where you place your energy, all right? And you have to be able to train this and snap out of it like how these elite athletes do, which is, like I said, I'm gonna show you how to do in a little bit. And that's how it's so important. That's what allows you to go from one mistake to the next play making a great play. One loss to winning the next game, right? I could never understand this, but it's because they train their focus. Even Kobe can miss 5 shots and he's throwing up the next 10, because those 5 shots are not like, oh my God, I suck. Like, how do you do that? Like, I'm a horrible person. He's like, okay. He places his focus on his mechanics. Like, oh, I didn't flick my wrist enough. I didn't, bend my knees enough, whatever it is. It's not about him. He places his focus on the thing he can work on rather than the negative energy attached to the mistake. Does that make any sense? I think at this point, you guys get the point, all right? You guys understand the importance of a mistake. Of focus, my bad. So now I'm gonna teach you how to train your focus. So like anytime you make a mistake, anytime you lose a game, you know how to redirect it into the positive thing. Redirect that negative energy to positive energy, like you're an alchemist, all right? And if you don't know what an alchemist is, actually, never mind, we're not gonna get into that right now. It's gonna be a whole hour video, but the first thing I want you to do to train your focus is learn how to meditate, please. Because what meditation allows you to do is it allows you to sit with your thoughts and, more importantly, focus on what you're thinking and focus on what you're feeling. And most people can't do that. Like, when's the last time you really sat down with yourself and were really conscious of what you were thinking and feeling? Probably never, right? Because I never used to do it either. So when I sat down for the first time, my mind was spiraling. I sat down and I was just thinking of like, damn, what TV show am I gonna watch later? Damn, what am I gonna eat? What am I spiraling? It was the most random things ever. Like I couldn't really sit down. Like my mind was chaotic. And so were my feelings. I never understood what I was feeling. I would just be on autopilot all day. And it wasn't until I started doing this that I learned to really know what I was thinking, know what I was feeling, and try to train my focus in a way to redirect it into what I did want, right? And there's so many different meditation techniques out there. You ain't gotta be a monk. Like, that's a big misconception, actually. You gotta be a monk and you can't think of anything, right? That's literally impossible. You can't think of anything. Even the monks, I don't even think the monks can not think of anything, all right? So I want you to employ a mindfulness technique where I have you basically envision yourself on the side of a river, right? And the river is gonna be all of your thoughts, all of your feelings just flowing down, and you're not identifying with them. You're just focused on the next thought, right? It's like, oh, you see the thought flowing down the river of, oh, I'm not good enough. You're like, okay, that's my thought. That's not me though, but all right, cool. Then you focus on the next thought and just let it flow, right? You guys get what I'm saying? That's like the best analogy I can give. It's called mindfulness meditation. And that allows you to train your focus, okay? Because now you're gonna be aware of what you're thinking and what you're feeling and be like, hey, I don't like this. Let me focus my energy and my thoughts on something else, okay? So now when you make a mistake in a game, now it's like, oh, damn, I missed the penalty. I fucking sold. Oh my God, you'd be like, wait. You'll be able to catch yourself really fast and be like, wait, I don't like this. Let me focus my energy and my attention on, just let me make the next pass or some shit, That's what that meditation allows you to do, all right? And to just be more calm and relaxed and just gives you so much more life benefits overall. All right, the second thing, you're probably gonna think I'm joking, but I want you to stare at a doorknob for 30 minutes or to an hour every single day, right? Stay with me now. I know you're probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? This also allows you to train your focus because staring at a doorknob, well, I forgot to give this context. When you stare at a doorknob, anytime you catch yourself not or trying to look away from the doorknob or catch yourself thinking about something else that you don't want to think about, you bring your attention right back to the doorknob. Like, for example, let's say this is the doorknob. I'm looking at the doorknob and I try to look over here. I bring my attention right back to the doorknob, right? That's where all your focus is. You're training all your focus to be focused on the doorknob at that point in time, right? So you just keep doing this for an hour every single time. You'll be able to catch yourself, right? And you're gonna be shit at this because your focus is probably fried like mine was, But if you do this every single day for a week, you can't come back to me and tell me you have a focus problem. It's not gonna happen, okay? Like, I have an athlete, like he's 20 years old. He's a D1 football player. Us Gen Zers have the attention span of a goldfish, all right? And so him really sitting down and meditating and looking at a doorknob was probably one of the hardest things for him to do, he said, because he's never trained his focus before. His attention span is just rotted because just from all the scrolling and just all the cheap dopamine, just all of those things. So it's like, it's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be tough. But once you get it, you're gonna be golden because he used to overthink and just spiral all over every time he made a mistake or every time he would lose. He would just focus all his attention and energy upon that. So now he's able to catch himself because he trained his focus. Now he's able to be like, hey, why are you thinking about that? All right, focus upon this. Focus on the next play. Focus on whatever it is, right? And if you do these two things, you'll be able to get the same results as him. You meditate, you stare at a doorknob, your focus will be trained. You'll be able to catch yourself so fast so you don't spiral into that negative energy, into those negative emotions, all right? Try that and tell me what happens. I'll see you guys in the next video.